that they wanted a 40% pay raise. It makes me laugh. It makes me laugh how ridiculous these demands are. The UAW and Ford, Stellantis, GM, they're going to be the end of their own industry. They're toast. They're over. It's game over for these makers, right? Is the UAW about to have a huge win? Or is this the beginning of the end for those people that are on strike? Well, let's take a look at the story here. The UAW starts ratification process for Ford contracts as GM talks continue. The UAW's tentative deals with Ford and Stellantis feature a 25% pay raise. Hey, that's pretty great. But let's keep in mind here that they wanted a 40% pay raise. It makes me laugh. It makes me laugh how ridiculous these demands are. The UAW wanted a 40% pay raise, a 4-day work week, but still getting paid on 40 hours. And what do you expect? Do you actually think that they ever were going to come to those demands? And in reality speak, they probably set the bar really high so that when they were offered 25%, they'd be like, man, we could get 25%. This is awesome. But the UAW shooting themselves in the foot, right? The automakers are struggling to even get buyers these days. They're struggling for buyers because they've priced themselves so high. In an inflationary environment, people can't even afford their groceries, let alone a $1,200 truck payment. I mean, I've seen trucks that are now going for $100,000. That used to be what a house cost. We know that's not the case anymore. But these automakers are so out of touch with their customers. The UAW is so out of touch with the people who actually can't afford to buy their cars. If you go in a GM car, everything is hard plastic. You don't want to be in there. It's not a nice experience. And you're going to pay $54,000 for a baby-sized truck. Those used to be $15,000. The UAW and Ford, Stellantis, GM, they're going to be the end of their own industry here in the next few months or so. If they can't figure out how to actually make cars that people want, because nobody wants their EVs, if they actually make cars people afford, because nobody can afford their cars, and if they can actually make profits on these, which they're not going to be able to make profits because of the UAW, they're toast. They're over. It's game over for these makers, right? For these automakers. As the ratification process moves forward for the union deal with Ford, the UAW and GM continue to negotiate, and the union has escalated a stand-up strike by calling for a strike at the Spring Hill plant in Tennessee, which is the largest GM facility in North America. The Spring Hill strike raised the GM workers to more than 18,000 people, and 2,400 have been temporarily laid off because of this. We are disappointed by GM's unnecessary and irresponsible refusal to come to a fair agreement. So that's from the UAW chief, right? Give me a break. A fair agreement. A fair agreement is the fact that you get a job. A fair agreement is the fact that you're allowed to work there. A fair agreement is the fact that we need to make cars that are profitable, and you aren't doing that. We are disappointed by the UAW's action in light of the progress we've made, and we have continued to bargain in good faith with the UAW. And our goal remains to reach an agreement as quickly as possible. Yeah. I mean, they're both between a rock and a hard place, right? GM needs these people to just manufacture, to put together the pieces of the vehicles, right? I get that. These people need jobs. I get that. But what I also understand is that GM, on the other end of this, they are doing every single freaking thing possible to automate these people out of a job. GM management, and trust me, I can vouch for this. GM management is looking at these people saying, I don't even want to hire these people. I don't want them in our factory. I don't want them to step through that door. You know what I want? I want more robots. I want more automation. I want more processes, and I want more things that aren't going to tell me that they aren't going to work, and they're going to shut down my factory. Get out of my house. That's what the GM management's thinking right now. So the people at UAW, you're basically making sure that you're automating yourself out of a job. End of story. The UAW reached a tentative deal with Ford that involves pay raises of 25% over the course of 4.5 years. I bet you get a robot, and that robot's not going to ask for a raise. I bet you that robot's going to assemble these cars and not have any problems. These people are asking for trouble. Stellantis and UAW announced a similar initiative with a 25% wage increase and a $5,000 ratification bonus. Yeah. Well, Stellantis cars, what am I thinking of? Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, all of them. They are now like one of the highest priced cars out there I saw. and the lowest sales I saw. So they're not even going to be able to pay for these $5,000 bonuses. I don't know what they're talking about here. Let's go see what the AI trading data says about Ford. So Ford actually got a sell signal back on October 24th. So if you are a Ford investor, now may be the time to get out of your shares and go to cash. And in fact, these signals have generated a 137.81% return. So if you want to be one of the people, get your hands on these AI trading signals, go to ovtlyr.com to see why outliers win. Now let's go see what the internet's saying about this, right? There's now a combined 40,000 UAW workers on strike. Might as well have all of them on strike these days, right? Let's see here. Trouble caused by inflation? I think trouble caused by greed here. This person says McDonald's is always hiring. They'll strike until they find out that they no longer have a job. That's my opinion. They're going to continue to strike until they find out, oh, I just made sure that I didn't have a job. Well, McDonald's is always hiring. Hey, listen, I have no idea how the YouTube algorithm works, but it thinks you're going to love one of these two videos. So click one of these to watch more. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's Outlier Live. I'll see you on the next episode.